what kind of business do you own? I said, I have a personal training and nutrition coaching business. I said, no, you have a sales and marketing business that offers personal training and nutrition coaching. It was this pivotal switch of like, you could have the most amazing product in the world, but if you don't know how to market and get the word out and then convert those people to paying clients, you don't have a business.
Welcome back, you guys, to another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. I am your host, Mary Catherine, and if you're new to the podcast, a little background on me. At the young age of 26, I started as a member at Fit Body Boot Camp, and it quickly became the best part of my day every day. And I used that passion and energy that I felt at boot camp to open up my own location in 2017, and also the host of the Beyond the Scale podcast, where we talk about everything related to health, fitness, mindset, and motivation. I'm super excited about today's guest. Today we have Ben Jones. Ben is an Army veteran, a personal trainer, and the owner of 8 Fit Body Boot Camp locations in Arizona. And he has helped over 7,000 clients lose over 150,000 pounds since opening in 2014. His Fit Body locations have become a local brand where people know this is where you go to transform your health. Further, Ben runs a private coaching program for men where he helps them naturally optimize testosterone, health, and fitness through a custom training program, medically supervised nutrition strategies, and hormone therapy with a doctor. As a specialist in the industry, today you may get to hear some fascinating facts on how to optimize your health and fitness and hormones that are not widely known. So welcome, Ben.
Well, thank you, Mary Catherine. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're excited. So for all of our listeners, we are at a Mastermind right now, a Mastermind event for Fit Body in Charlotte, North Carolina. And these events are always so much fun because we get to connect with other owners that are leaders in the brand and just learn from one another.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's always a good time. It's, glad to be here.
Yeah, well, good. Well, I want to start, of course, with just 8 locations. Wow. Like that is amazing. And I know that took time. And so walk us through why even opening up a Fit Body in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big part of this, if we're going to kind of really go back to where it started for me, it was being an overweight kid and not knowing really anything about fitness, nutrition. And, that it was typical to come home after school, and I think it was 3rd, 4th grade, and have a couple sodas, eat a bunch of Doritos, and just was the chunky kid. And it got to being in junior high for me, and it was my 8th grade summer that I decided I didn't want to be like this anymore, and started just looking up what does it take to be fit and healthy and nutrition. And over that summer, I just went out and ran 3 miles every night and dropped 30 pounds, and that was kind of the beginning for me. And really, fast forward, I got my first personal training certification as 6 weeks after graduating high school, and then after taking the test for that, I shipped out to basic training for the Army a couple weeks later. And so just had this vision that, it was always a dream. At one point, I wanted to have my own gym, and but I also wanted to serve, and at this point, this was in 2005, and it's pretty much a guarantee to be sent to Iraq or Afghanistan at that point. And within 6 months after getting back from basic training, sure enough, got orders we were going to Iraq. And during that time, that was just something that, as I was the fitness guy in our platoon, and when we were deployed and just everything else, I helped do a lot of the meal plans, fitness regimens for the guys in my platoon, and just help them to be fit, especially when we were over there. That was, if we weren't out on a mission, that was kind of like the religiously dedicated thing it was going to the gym, right? And so that really planted that seed, and I think really with this idea of having my own business. It was one of the guys in my unit that he had talked to me about how he had a friend that had 3 Chick-fil-A's, and just like some of the things that they had. And that was where I thought, like at some point I need to figure this out. I'm going to have my own business. I'm going to do something. And came back, started going to college, and I got my degree in nutrition and dietetics. I went to school to be a dietitian, and I was also working as a trainer during this time. And then I got into medical sales after college. So I was working for a company that did the genetic testing for hereditary cancer syndrome. So people call it BRCA or the BRCA or Lynch syndrome. So at the time that I was doing this, it was going around and talking to doctors, and this was in some ways educating them on really what this was. But that was the other thing that I saw, though. I remember going into oncologists and see, like, these are genetic tests that can literally save someone's life. It's kind of like you have a gene that predisposes you to getting cancer in your 40s. And I remember just this one conversation with an oncologist, like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I feel like genetics is opening up Pandora's box, so I'm not doing that. And I just remember being this, like, there's a lot of stuff of pharmaceutical medical sales, but like this was something that's on a preventative side that could make a huge impact. And I just remember it's like, man, I went to school, I went to go do all this, and it's like, especially for anyone that's worked in medical sales, to spend $400 to buy lunch for an office, and the doctors show up and are like, give me your spiel. All right, great, we'll talk to you later, and I just thought, like, this is not having the impact that I wanted. And you know what? Everything happens for a reason. I got laid off. They cut our division, and that was the wake-up call that I needed, that, and I'm not going to be at the mercy of someone else. And so I'd been following Bedros all through college, and shortly after that layoff, I bought his PT business course for $600 and made the decision that I'm turning my garage into a gym, and started that. And that was in, it would be October of 2013. Started with 4 ladies from my church, and I basically made a deal with them. You pay me $125, you get a lifetime membership, and you get to be the guinea pigs of this group training thing.
A lifetime membership to your garage.
To what will soon be the gym. Okay. Because that was the starting point. With that, we launched our first challenge under my brand at the time, and that was in January of 2014. And we started with 12 people doing basically a 90-day challenge. The grand prize was $1,000. And then 3 months after that, I signed the franchise agreement for Fit Body. And then in June of 2014, we opened the first Fit Body location. And the very first, some dumpy warehouse on the side of an airport. And, it was just this crazy thing to see what happened. We launched on day one, had about 50 people. Since then, it has had an amazing impact, that obviously with those numbers there, even when I was tallying it up last time, I mean, it's been more people we've helped and more pounds have been lost since then. And, that's really where it's grown. Now we have an awesome team that has that same passion and drive to help people, make an impact, change their lives. And that's really where it all started.
That is just so, and we could probably talk about the journey from 1 to 8 all day long.
Yes.
It's so impressive. And it sounds like just such a humbling beginning, because you really were on a mission to help people and to change someone's life, and you really wanted to make that impact. And I think just having that solid foundation is really what has helped you grow over the years.
Absolutely. Because I think this was something that I remember being in Iraq. Like, we spent a year there, and who knows why we were really there at this point, but I do know that there's just certain things that I saw when we were there that, for some of the people there, it was having a very positive impact, or even just things that we take for granted here in America. Like, I remember that there was all sorts of soldier support systems, and like in the holidays, people would just send us boxes of candy and supplies, and we'd have this room like full of stuff that, like, there's no way we're gonna use all this. And we'd take some of this. I remember one time we took like all the candy and put it in a trash bag, and we were rolling out on a mission, and then threw it out to, a bunch of the kids that would come up to the trucks. And to them, like, they just got literally like 20 pounds of candy. And, in this country, they've maybe had this a few times in their life. Right. And just the things that, I think for me, that was a whole wake-up call. Is like, we have it so good here in America. And how can I take some of the lessons of, like, we're doing something to have an impact, but to be able to continue that mission here for, in the U.S. And you look at the biggest thing that's killing people in this country, it is chronic disease that's related to obesity and sedentary lifestyle.
Yes. I love that perspective so much. And I do think we take our health for granted.
Absolutely.
Every single day.
Absolutely.
See people, even our doctors, speaking about the experience that you had in the doctor's offices. I mean, for me personally, I cannot go to the doctor and have a relationship with a physician who doesn't take care of themselves. And you can tell.
I agree 100%. Yeah. You got to practice what you preach, lead from the front. Who's going to excuse this if this offends anyone? But I'll tell you what, if you're a fat doctor or a fat trainer, like, you know what? I'm probably not going to be listening to what you're saying, because, I want to see the person that's living what they're, practicing what they're preaching, right?
Exactly, a living example, yeah. So I want to go back a little bit to, as you're growing your business, as a new entrepreneur and a business owner, What were some of your lowest points and some of your highest points in those beginning stages?
Yeah, I mean, I think the lowest points have really been just sometimes I'd say first, it's the not being sure. It's taking this leap of faith. And I think that this has often been my philosophy, that I would have rather have tried and failed than look back in life and wonder what if. And I think so many people focus on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. And, there's always going to be some losses along the way, but the point is that you win more than you lose. Right. And I think that, that's some of the high points too, is like being able to see the impact when you have the wins, or even like, a few times a year we do these big challenge celebrations with our clients, right. Recognize winners. And, we'll have, I think the last one we had almost 500 people at one of these dinners, and just having several people come up and just say, thank you, like this has changed my life. That's a reminder of like why we do what we do is, at the end of the day, life is short. Yeah. And did we do something where we only live for ourselves? Or, what was the legacy, I look at it that I'm leaving, what is the impact that I left on people's lives, at the time that I've been given on this earth, Right.
Oh, definitely. And to that, have you ever had any stories over the years or transformations over the years that have really helped validate your decision to becoming a fitness business owner?
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many. I think probably one of the biggest ones that is the most impactful is a client that she got started with our 4th location. And saw the ads that were doing the grand opening. She came in, and this was still at the point when I was still very heavily involved in running the locations, and I was helping to get this one launched. So I was doing a lot of the initial meetings with clients when they came in. And I just remember seeing her, and she came in, she had 2 small girls, was very angry. Just, she was heavy set, probably 5'6", 250 pounds. And just sat down with her, got the nutrition plan mapped out, and then I hadn't seen her, honestly, in probably like 6 months, because when we put the management into that location, I pulled myself out and ran into her at it was like this mutual family event where she was a mutual friend with my wife's cousin. And she came up to me, and at this time she's lost 50 pounds. And she's like, I don't think I've told you, but like FitBody literally saved my life. I had written down a date of when I was going to kill myself. And I saw the ad of just for this new thing that was opening up, and was just at a point of everything in life was falling apart, and I'll give this a shot. And, that story is probably one of the most impactful. We've had so many other people that have had incredible stories like that, but sometimes it's like, it's so much more than just weight loss, and it's like we use this in some ways as a ministry to like really change people's lives. And how do we, I don't know, I just think there's so many stories that I could share like that, but it's, again, it's something that's having an amazing impact on so many people's lives. And I think that's, again, the reminder for me of doing this, but even then going on to some of the next things.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that community feel, too, helps so many people. And that's what helped me personally when I started as a client at FitBody, is I was missing that sense of community that I get at FitBody, that I had at FitBody, that was holding me accountable and keeping me motivated. And I see that with a lot of our clients. It's like they come in and they tell you all the programs they've tried, and they haven't worked, and once they start FitBody and it does start to work for them, it's usually because they have that sense of community, they have that fit family that they can now lean on.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge part of it. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and that's a huge part of what we do, is that when people come in, we have this saying that we tell all of our coaches, look for the loners, meaning, everyone that's coming into a group fitness, who's over there just standing there by themselves, that is, maybe it's their first time, maybe they've been coming, they don't know anybody, they're just standing there by themselves, not talking to anyone. Like, make it a point for our coaches, and even with our clients, that, we call them, FitBody ambassadors, to go around and like make it a point and, hey, what's your name? How long have you been coming in? Introduce them to other clients, and immediately pulling them in. That it's like there shouldn't be a chance of somebody just showing up there. Or I've heard horror stories of people going to some other, just say, competitors, and where it's almost the complete opposite. It's like people are very like snooty to people.
They have their clicks.
Yes, and it's like you're not, almost like prove to see if you're good enough to be here. And, and I just think that's the complete opposite of the culture we try to create. Is like, we've had so many clients to walk in and they see some of our clients that have been there for 2-3 years that are just like in a phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
They don't realize they came in, they almost threw up on the first workout and they've lost 80 pounds. Yeah, and so yeah, that's a super cool part of what we do and the culture we try to create.
Definitely. So you and I were talking before the show about how you have a pretty good men membership base, a male membership base at FitBody, like 40%.
Correct. Yes.
Great, because a lot of people think FitBody is just for women, but it is not.
Yes.
And so talk to us about how you've recruited so many men in your FitBodies.
Yeah, I think a big part of it has been just, first it's always the wives that they'll come in and they start getting into amazing shape and they finally talk their husbands into coming in. And, of course, and I see this is always funny with the dudes, especially the guys that work out and just lift heavy, is they come in and, because we combine strength training with cardio. So I always try to tell people, if you want to be able to perform athletically, deadlift 300 pounds, go do 30 sit-ups and then do, 20 burpees and do that back to back and see if you can still lift 300 pounds. Now, if you can still lift 300 pounds and keep that tempo, then all right, you're solid. So that's kind of this mindset though, but a lot of the guys, all right, they might just lift 300 pounds, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And so do you want to perform like an athlete or be kind of like a bulky dude that has no endurance?
Right.
And so that's really some of the stuff that we have a lot of guys that have come in, and even with our FitBody Games, this is going to be the 6th year that we've been doing it. And, I think, man, we see some of the guys that have been coming in that are literally deadlifting over 400 pounds. And I mean that they are just jacked. I mean, 6-packs, and just seeing like where they started though, and it's been a really, really cool thing to be able to see. And that's just a big thing we also see is that, I think as guys, there's this level of pride, and we don't want, I don't want to go do some stupid fitness class with my wife, right? But I think that's a big thing we really try to show, that it doesn't matter where you're at. Like, there's a good mix. There's a lot of couples that come in, and this is like done good things for their marriage. They've made new friends, become part of the community. So yeah, it's been a really, really cool thing to be able to see, especially with the men, and the impact we've been able to have with the guys coming in to do this.
And I think with guys too, it's like they think they have it all figured out. Like, I don't need to work out with other people. I don't need someone to tell me what to do. I can go to the gym and do it on my own. And then when they come to FitBody, what we've seen in some of our facilities is the men, they form their own little bro pack.
They do, yeah.
They end up working together alongside their wives sometimes too, but they have their bro pact, and they challenge each other. And so they're still getting that, push that they need. It's not, yeah.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I think about, especially a lot of the men, and a lot of them are professionals, that lawyers, doctors, executives, and just, are people in leadership positions. And I mean, that's been one of the things that they love is that, again, I think about some of our competitors. There's another boot camp that it almost is like shaming to men, where it's for women only. And it's like, as a dude, I would never want to go to a place like that, and I think, that's just the thing. It's like, it doesn't matter whether you're male, female, we try to make sure that you're going to be able to get an amazing workout. And, in that 30 minutes, it's going to be the best part of your day, right?
Right. Well, in the 30 minutes, too, it's like you can spend 30 minutes on yourself 5 days a week.
Absolutely.
I cannot spend an hour and a half on myself 5 days a week. Like, I don't have that time.
Yeah.
And so you can do the 30 minutes. And I think FitBody clients are some of the most dedicated people because they are willing to put in the time. Like, it is not long, it's not short-term results that you're going to see. It's the long game. And so, of course, you might lose 5-10 pounds at a 28-day challenge that we run, but you have to stay after those 28 days. And I think some of FitBody clients, they truly are just dedicated. They're dedicated individuals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know you are super passionate about hormones and optimizing hormones for optimal health and performance. Talk to us about how you got into that.
Yeah, this was also the military.
Okay.
And, this was something that when I was overseas, that, there was a lot of craziness that happened, but there's a lot of things that we were exposed to. I mean, even if you wanted to go do your own research, you could probably see like these burn pits, and I was at a base where we were literally in this cloud of smoke from these giant burn pits that were burning all the time. At the age of 20, we took, I think, 5 series of the anthrax vaccinations, and there's now all this stuff coming out that they use the military as guinea pigs with these, and pretty much every dude I deployed with has issues with low testosterone, infertility, things like that. And so, this is one of these things. I got back from overseas at the age of 22. I just felt off. And, mind you, I'm going to school to be a dietitian. I'm in, yes, I'm working as a trainer. I mean, my nutrition's dialed in. I'm eating 3,000 calories a day, working out 5 days a week. And then I find out that, I went into the VA. They did some blood work and said that my testosterone came back at the level of an 80-year-old man. And I'm thinking it was a shock. I was 22. And there's no reason that should be like that. And so anyways, that was kind of the beginning of this whole journey of first trying to look at everything naturally of how to optimize testosterone, hormone health in general, vitamins, minerals, foods, things to avoid. But then even later on, it's just, looking at if you have to go on to testosterone replacement or hormone therapy, there's this whole thing that I see, like for women, if their hormones are off, hey, take an estrogen pill or progesterone. It's not it's not this bad thing. But if a dude has to go and take supplemental testosterone, it's like this, you're taking steroids, which that's not the case. There's a huge difference between bodybuilders that are taking massive amounts of steroids compared to taking a supplemental dose of testosterone to get your levels back to where they should be. And so this has really been this 16-year journey. And what I've seen is even because of this whole stigma that's out there, is that the management for men specifically, if they have to go on to testosterone, it's outdated. It's 50 years in the past. And so this has kind of gone through my own journey that I've had to go through of trying everything I can to naturally optimize. But, the doctor that I actually partner with in our men's coaching program, this was one of these things, if we've done different stuff, he literally told me, he's like, dude, I literally have a client that has one nut that makes more testosterone than you do. The only thing I can tell you is the military screwed you up. Yeah. And so this is just, that's really where it came from. And so really, this is where we've gone that even with some of the hormone replacement is there's different strategies that I would just say that a lot of these men's health clinics that they just are quick to give dudes like a weekly shot of testosterone or pellets or creams, and it's way more what they need to, jacking up their system, because what happens is that your body's not designed to get this huge shot of testosterone once a week. So it converts a lot of it to estrogen, and then it converts a lot of it to something else called dihydrotestosterone. So estrogen in men is what causes literally breast development. The DHT is what causes you to go bald and get body hair. So two side effects that are not ideal, but the thing is that there's another way to be able to do hormone replacement that it requires a much smaller dose, does not have the negative side effects. And so this is just really where a lot of this whole, this newer program of launches, being able to, I see so many men that women, I'm going to tell you this comes back to the whole thing. We see so many women, they're quick to raise their hand. I want help. I want to go into boot camp. Guys are not. They suffer in silence. We have our pride, our ego, right? And I see so many dudes with this that, are suffering, like signs of low testosterone, anxiety and depression. The mental switch of getting that fixed is night and day. It's that feeling of, do you just sit around and feel like there's no drive or desire to do anything in life? The low sex drive, the loss of muscle, gain of body fat, not being able to see results in the gym. And so this has just been the 16-year journey for me, and that's where this whole program that we've just recently launched is being able to work private coaching, or they're working with me and the doctor that we partner with on this, and taking them through a stepwise procedure of what are the best ways to naturally optimize testosterone. If you need hormone therapy, all right, what's the way to do it to get the minimal effective dose to get maximal results? Yeah. And this is something that I've seen, and I kind of think last point with this is kind of doing this newer strategy is it's been the lowest dose of testosterone I've ever been on, and my levels have probably been 3 times higher than they've ever been from anything else that I've ever done in the past. And that's why I just see this is not something that's widely recommended in medical literature because it's so far outdated. And so that's just the thing. That's really my passion has come from, is like, you know what? If I've seen the impact it's had in my life, and I see this is something that nobody is talking about in the industry, and that so many men are suffering in silence. And if you can help fix that, you're going to fix a whole lot of other things in society, I think, as well.
I love that, and I love how you use a lot of your personal experiences as your reason why and your passion behind it. It's like you had a personal experience with that, even with your fitness, your health and fitness journey from starting at eighth grade.
Yep.
It's like you use that to help other people because you've been there and
Yep.
you know what they're going through.
Absolutely.
There's so much value in that. All right, I'm going to do a quick lightning round.
All right.
For it? Okay. What is one thing that you're most passionate about today?
I'd say
Aside from hormones.
probably, so like a project that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say outside of that, I would just say there is a new business that I'm in the process of launching in Georgia that it's going to change an industry. So I can't tell you quite yet, just say that there's so much bigger investors that are involved with this. And I would just say that it does tie into the hormones. And like I said, it's just going to be something that, in the next few months by year end, we're going to be doing a launch with this. And again, it's going to be something new, unique, and that most people have never really seen before. And so I would just say, like I said, there's still a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but I'm very excited. Now, everything I just told you about, I kind of look at it does, because there's the three things. We have the Fit Bodies, we have the men's coaching program, and this is kind of like the big thing that a lot of this is feeding into, because I see even with these programs, they can have a local impact. What we're trying to do with this is going to be able to have a national, and my hope is even a global impact.
That's exciting. I can't wait to know what it is.
Absolutely.
Was there ever anything that was holding you back from becoming a fitness professional?
I think probably just self-belief. Sometimes it's just, we all have those self-limiting beliefs. Am I good enough? People are going to show up. When this was in my garage, this whole thought, I'd put ads out and stuff, and I'd preface it with people of like, hey, by the way, just so you're not like weirded out, this is in my garage. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen is like, we're always going to have self-limiting beliefs. You're always going to have people that criticize you. Who cares what they think? Because you know what, if I let that hold me back, how many people would be missing out? What's the impact that would have happened if I let that limiting belief? And that's why even I still have doubts. I still have those thoughts that go into my head with things. What if this doesn't work? What if the what ifs, right? But I also know too, there's power in just taking action and believing yourself, and that you're going to mess up along the way, but no matter what, you're going to win.
Yeah, well, and then it's like, I always tell myself, if I don't do it, someone else is going to do it, so
Absolutely.
why don't they get to do it? Why don't I do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's always going to be somebody. All right, what's the best advice that you've ever received as a business owner?
It was a early business coach that, so I would say if you think about at least what Bedros, what he was to personal trainers and gym owners, I had a client, my first location, he came in, and he was basically what Bedros was, but to lawyers. So he's a high-level business coach and consultant. And we ended up doing this barter for his entire family to get a membership for a year so I could be part of his coaching program as well. And I remember sat down this 3-hour coaching session, and he asked me this question. He said, what kind of business do you own? I said, I have a personal training and nutrition coaching business. He said, no, you have a sales and marketing business that offers personal training and nutrition coaching. It was this pivotal switch of like, you could have the most amazing product in the world, but if you don't know how to market and get the word out and then convert those people to paying clients, you don't have a business. And I think that has been a huge part of our success, even with our team. We have so many coaches that are super technical, clinically minded, and sometimes they don't get the marketing side. And it's like, guys, like that's we got to have something that's going to feed the machine. And if we don't have that system dialed in, then nothing else is going to work.
Yeah, that's such great advice. All right, share one of your personal daily habits that contribute to your success.
I think a big part of it is just having a morning routine of getting up, reading, and then going to the gym. And I think not really looking at the phone or doing anything. I look at it, especially now, I like working out in the mornings because for me, that's being able to have a daily win. That for me, I do like most of the time going in and just putting in headphones and working out and just challenging myself, pushing myself is, okay, what was I doing last week? How can I do a little bit more? And it's just like getting that feeling of accomplishment, because regardless of what else happens during the day, at least I have that win.
Right.
If everything else totally goes to crap, like, at least, you know what, I still did something, and that's something I look forward to before, going on and taking on the rest of the day.
Yes, I totally agree. With me, I have 2 small children, so it's like you never know what your day's going to look like.
Yep.
If I can start my day with a workout, I'm like, mommy can handle anything. I can do it all.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, what's one life hack that's made a big difference in your life?
Life hack. I think it's also taken time to enjoy things. This has actually been something that my wife has really helped challenge me on, is taking time to be present in the moment. And I think that there's always stuff to do. There's always goals to chase after. But sometimes it's like, you know what, like at the end of our life, is it going to be the things we accomplished, or is it the simple moments of, like, you remember that, or the impact that you made? And I think just in some ways, that's probably been the biggest thing I can say for anybody that's an entrepreneur or works hard, is like, you got to take time to, just enjoy the simple things.
Yeah. Enjoy the process and not always be so focused on the product. I heard
Exactly.
that the other day. It's like, as entrepreneurs, you so bad want to just get to that next goal and you want to start a new one. And it's like you have to enjoy the process of getting there, or you're always just going to be chasing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've noticed every single time, I don't know, maybe I don't know if you were listening to the Ed Milet podcast, because I think that's what it was, the chasing of the achievement success. And I just noticed that it's something I do. And I've noticed it's so true that every time I hit a goal, it's like, now what?
Right.
Now what? And then it's like all these things, that no matter what goal you set out, once you get there, it's like, now what? And so, so as far as the life hack is, I think it's taking time to enjoy the moment, and, life is short, right? Absolutely.
I love it. All right, grand finale. What's a parting piece of wisdom that you would be able to leave our audience with that you've learned over the years?
Is don't let fear hold you back. You think about anything. I always try to think about it like this. If I'm not doing something that puts a knot in my gut, makes me feel like I'm going to throw up, and gives me anxiety, I'm not challenging myself. And that if we stay inside of our comfort zone, we're never going to grow. And that growth and great things in your life never happen inside your comfort zone. Right. You think of anything. Anyone that's been married, at some point, you had to go ask out your spouse. That was probably uncomfortable, right? You think about any job. You went through interviews. For most people, you're probably getting anxiety and butterflies, right? There's every good thing is leaning into those uncomfortable situations. I think that's the biggest thing that I can say is, like, if you aren't finding something daily, weekly, monthly, whatever, that's an uncomfortable thing, of taking that head on, because being great is taking on the challenges. Being average is avoiding them and just doing what everyone else does.
Yes, I love it. Learning to be comfortable with getting uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, I love to ask all of my guests this question, and that is, what does beyond the scale mean to you?
You know what? It's beyond just a number on the scale. A big thing that we try to teach is, do you feel better? What's happening with your mental state, your confidence, your strength, endurance? There's things that, who really cares what the number on the scale is? How do you look? How do you feel? And I think that's the big thing for everyone. I know we have this talk with our clients so much, is like, go throw the scale away. How do your clothes fit? How do you feel? Do you sleep better? Is your energy increased? Has libido increased? That's one area that a lot of people don't talk about, but your fitness, it has a huge impact on both men and women with that. It's all these other things. So, if you're seeing progress, forget about the scale. Throw it away. Measure it on how you're feeling in every other area. Because the thing is, the scale will reflect it with time, and it's going to show you transforming your body, getting leaner, stronger, healthier, and so I would say that.
Well, a lot of times too, people don't even know why they want to be that certain number on the scale.
Absolutely.
Like they say, I want to be 135 pounds. Why? And they can't even answer that question. And so that goes to show it does not matter.
Absolutely.
It does not define you.
It's so true. And, and I think there was this example that I've seen. Like, would you rather be 150 pounds, but 18% body fat as a woman, or would you rather be 120 pounds and 30% body fat?
Good question. Probably 150.
Exactly. And I know for everyone listening to this is why. There's the difference of being lean and having a toned, athletic build,
You'll be that at 150.
you'll be there at 150. And you're going to look a whole lot better
Yeah.
than the person at the other weight that's 30% body fat and is basically skinny fat.
Skinny fat, yep.
Yep.
I learned that phrase recently, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, well, Ben, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for joining us today. Where can our listeners find more about you and your Fit Body locations?
Absolutely. Probably two places would be my Instagram, which is by BY Ben Jones.
Okay.
And then also, I have a podcast of my own. It's called The Ben Jones Show. And so a big thing that we talk about on this is just really a big part of it is the hormone health, fitness, nutrition, but even deeper things is just leadership mindset. And I just look at, because especially, I would say for men, if your hormones are off, your testosterone is off, that impacts so many other things. It ties into really holding us back from accomplishing our full potential in life. So that would be the two spots, Instagram, and then my podcast. If you want to check it out, it'll have an amazing impact for everyone that listens.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And we'll have those in the show notes for you guys to find. Ben, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. As always, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It is my goal to help educate our community on how to live their best lives in and outside of the gym. Thank you for joining us.